Hey Phyllis, how we doing? So I had some time and I was thinking of it, and so I decided I'd put this aside, mostly organized earlier, and I figured I'd do another, talk about one of my decks because I can, and it fills space on my channel because I'm like that. Fill in space, how dare I? But this is a deck that I kind of sort of refer to as the Destroyer. As you can see, it's red and white. It's taken a few modifications over the years, and it still needs more, in my opinion, to be bluntly honest. Let's start from the ground up. Let's look at the mono base. We got 3 Clifftop Retreats, 2 Battlefield Forge, 1 10th edition, and 1 original Apocalypse printing. Yeah, it's kind of nice, actually. I like it. Recently reprinted M15. 2 Scablands, which I should probably pull out. They're basically just like Battlefield Forge, except they come into play tapped. They're from Tempest. The whole Painland concept, like Battlefield Forge, originally came from Ice Age, where they also had depletion lands. That is, when you tap them for colored mana, you'd put a depletion counter on it, and during your upkeep, during your untap, I apologize, during your untap, if there was a depletion counter on it, instead of untapping it, you'd just remove the counter. Yeah. Obviously, the depletion lands were not particularly popular because they slowed you down a lot in the long run. The first enemy color pain lands, originally printed in Tempest block, were along the lines of Scabland, and they came to play tapped, unlike the older pain lands. I'm guessing because the idea was enemy colors working together is supposed to be so powerful and rare that it has an extra drawback. Obviously, by the time Apocalypse rolled around, they thought different of that. They thought different of it. A Temple of Triumph in there. Yes, it hits the board tap, but you scry 1 when it comes into play, which is kind of nice. I would not mind having more of those. Thawing Glaciers, which back in the day was a power card. Nowadays, it's not so great. And it only search it. It comes into play. Does it come into play tapped? I don't remember. Take a look. Comes into play tapped. You pay 1 colorless and tap it to search your library for a basic land and put that into play tapped. And then shuffle, and at the end of the turn, return Thawing Glaciers to owner's hand. It's too slow these days, and I really should replace it. And I've got 6 mountains and 5 plains. So that's the mana base as it stands right now. That could stand some tweaking, to be perfectly honest. But what's kind of funny is the mana curve tops out at 4. Let's go over some basic stuff. Simple utility cards. I've got 2 Disenchants and Wall of Glare, which is a colorless and a white for a 0/5 defender that can block any number of creatures. That's not bad. It's really not. Disenchants are great utility cards. A colorless and a white for an inch to destroy target enchantment or artifact. Well, I'm thinking of it. Enchantments. I have a handful of auras in here, 2 Spirit Links, 2 Imperial Armors, and Sarah's Embrace. And I really should replace these with equipment. I really should. I mean, because equipment's just straight up better. Because, the thing with auras is when the creature it's attached to dies, the aura goes bye-bye. Old school aura, blah, blah, blah. They're not all that hot. I should get rid of them. I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't modified. I seriously need to modify this deck. I'll be honest on that one. Cataclysm. Cataclysm's a fun one. It was recently reprinted from the Vault Annihilation. 2 and double white sorcery. Each player chooses from amongst the permanents they control an artifact, creature, enchantment, and a land, and sacrifices the rest. What's neat is that it kills Planeswalkers, because the card was published before Planeswalkers were even a thing. So you don't get to save one. They get sacrificed with the rest of your stuff. Kid science, fun stuff. Just some big flyers, because big flyers, right? A Lightning Dragon, which is a 4/4 flying with fire breathing, the 4, but it has an echo cost of 2 and a red. That is the upkeep after you play it. You have to pay its casting cost, its base casting cost again, or you sacrifice it. Later, they came out with, they modified the echo rules. This is from Urza's Saga. where they first came out with Echo, where it was just pay the casting cost again. Later they came out with cards with very different kinds of Echo costs, like an Echo cost of discard a card, or pay a smaller amount of mana, or pay a larger amount of mana, or pay a different color of mana even, which is kind of saucy. I should probably replace the Lightning Dragon with something else, to be perfectly honest. A Fire Main Avenger, it's a 3/3 flyer for 2, a red and a white. And if I attack with it and 2 other creatures, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. It's not bad. It's alright. But I needed more creatures to go along with that. I removed some, less efficient direct damage type of stuff from the deck. For Archmages, it's a 2 and a red for a 2/2 Spell Shaper. 2 colors and a red, tap, discard a card from your hand to deal 2 damage, divided as you choose amongst up to 2 target creatures and or players. So he's a nice little utility card there, but he's not part of the main theme of the deck. This guy exemplifies the main, a fair chunk of the main theme of the deck. This little fellow is called Avalanche Rider. He's a 3 and a red for a 2/2. He's got Echo, old school Echo. He's got haste, and when he hits the board, destroy target land. It's kind of saucy. Kind of saucy. Stone Rain, 2 colors and a red, sorcery, destroy target land. As you can see, this is 4 different printings. Stone Rain used to get printed a lot. I mean a lot, and we haven't seen it in years. I miss Stone Rain, I really do. But this is a copyright 1995. That would make it that's a 4th edition Stone Rain. That's an Ice Age Stone Rain. That's a Mirage Stone Rain. And that's a Tempest Stone Rain. There's a lot more printings than those. A lot. Now, we're starting to get into some of the funk here. Sultari Grill is 2 colors, white, red, for a 3/2 with Shadow. Shadow was originally in Tempest block, and it made a comeback in Time Spiral block, but we haven't really seen it since. It's interesting. Basically, a creature with Shadow can only block or be blocked by a creature with Shadow. That is, unlike flying, where a flying creature can block creatures without flying. No. A creature with Shadow can't block another creature unless that other creature has Shadow. So it's kind of funky. Oh, that in the Sultari Gorillas says that if they attack and aren't blocked, you may instead have them deal their combat damage to a target creature instead of the defending player. Spiffy. Sultari Monk for double white. It's a 2/1 shadow creature with protection from black. The more popular version was protection. There we go. Kind of interrupted myself by accidentally hitting the power button on the camera. Oops. So, anyways, yeah, Sultari Monk. It's a 2/1 shadow pro black for white. The more popular version back in the day was Sultari Priest, which was the same casting cost, same power toughness, but shadow and pro red, because back then red was more of a threat to the in the tournament scene than black was overall. But yeah, there's a reason why it's pro black. Why I chose the pro black one, and that's because I wanted to put a Destructive Urge on it. It's a colorless and double red. It's a enchantment aura, enchant creature. Yay! Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage, defending player sacrifices a land. It's pretty nasty. You put that on a shadow creature, it's damn near impossible to block, and oh yeah, you're nuking lands. Yay. Speaking of shadow creatures that do funk, Sultari Visionary, colorless and double white for a 2/2 shadow. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may destroy target enchantment that player controls. Now, you might ask, why am I running 4 of those? Of all things, when I could be running other shadow creatures with comparable power for lower casting cost. And the reason why is because I have a pair of Soul Sculptors in here. 2 colors and a white for a 1/1. A colors and a white tap. Target creature becomes an enchantment and loses all abilities until a player successfully casts a creature spell. I have to double check what its current text is. It could just be whenever a player plays a creature spell, or just plain casts it and not successfully casts, or whenever a creature hits the battlefield. I don't know. I'd have to double check the official text as it stands right now. But the idea is hey, here's this guy with a destructive urge, and this guy. I turn one of your dudes into an enchantment. I turn this dude sideways. Take 2, sack a land, and I'll destroy your creature that I just turned into an enchantment. That's pretty saucy stuff. It's pretty saucy. So I'm nuking enchantments, I'm nuking creatures, I'm nuking lands. I mean, I'm doing some pretty snazzy stuff. I've got a couple of disenchants to deal with artifacts. And then at first I had this guy in here, like 2 of him in here to deal with artifacts. He's a Viashino Heretic. 2 colors and a red for a 1/3. A color and a red, and tap to destroy target artifact and deal damage to that artifact's controller equal to the artifact's casting cost. All well and good. And I used to have like 2 of him in here. Now I have 3. And to go with that, I have 3 liquid metal coatings. Those not familiar with liquid metal coating, it's a 2 colors artifact. It's from Scars of Mirrodin. You tap it, and target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. That's a 2-card combo that'll basically destroy any permanent in the game that is not protection from red and or protection from artifacts. Or, is targetable. If I can't target it, yeah, obviously I can't do crap about it. If it's got like Shroud or Hexproof. Barring that, though, it's like, whatever. Oh, you got yourself a huge-ass Eldrazi or whatever over there. Don't ask me how this deck is going to, like, fail so badly that your opponent is actually able to cast an Eldrazi. Maybe he's playing, like, mono-green ramp or something. I don't know. But the idea is, oh, look at that. You got Emrakul. I'll turn Emrakul into an artifact creature, and then I will blow him up in your face. Actually, isn't Emrakul indestructible? I don't remember. I have to look that up. I have to look it up. But the idea being is like you can, this works on lands, creatures, enchantments, planeswalkers. That's right, folks, planeswalkers. Jace is an artifact. He's a planeswalker artifact, and now he's dead. Now he's dead. So, like I said, it's a deck that needs some modification, but overall, it's still a fun, evil little concept. And I like it. It's a good casual deck overall. It's not murderously efficient, but to be perfectly honest, a lot of people don't like playing against it too much. Like many of my casual decks, it's mean and unfair. It's just mean. It's mean, and it doesn't have a problem with going up to people and cracking them across the kneecaps with a crowbar. Just my style of play. It's like, yeah, I'll be brutal. Hell yes. Hells yes. So yeah, so it's a fun little deck. I like it. Take it or leave it. There's some fun stuff in there, really fun stuff. And a lot of these are like, especially liquid metal coating it. Now, Viashino Heretic is an old uncommon, but it's worth next to nothing. It really is. I mean, that combo alone, a full play set of both should cost you, on the secondary market, would probably cost you less than $3. Just saying. Just saying. Some of this other stuff is a little bit rarer and harder to find, especially the lands. That's really the expensive part. But oh well. Alrighty. Battery's almost out. I'm going to call this a vid. Be good, stay safe, happy gaming, kill no one I win. That goes double for you!